Well, the joys of being a YouTuber and all that. Ha! Brought my GoPro with me to do a little bit of filming out here on this climb to show you that this is going to be the climb I'm planning to do my DIY National Hill Climb Championship on. It's actually not that far away from Ponte de Lais, like the area. I mean, this is like a mountain range, this area, and what we have here is like I think it's like a 1.5k climb in total, averaging at like 11%, there's one section which is down there which I've just ridden, and I lapped at the bottom 750 meters, give or take, because that's the length of Streatley, which is where the Nationals is going to be held this weekend. So the idea is that on Sunday I'll come out and do this climb just like I would for the Nationals, but I'll just use this 750 meter section of road. It finishes on the cattle grid, so I'm thinking that maybe I'll like start earlier on the climb. There's a little bit of a flat section at the bottom. I'll have to use that because I don't want to finish on the cattle grid, otherwise I'm going to be like, it's going to be like a human cheese grater, you know what I'm saying? So that's the plan. It's like 12.5% for 750 meters, which is like 1% shy of what Streatley is. It's about as close as I can get, and I didn't want to travel like anywhere like, you know, unnecessary distance to get to a climb. So this is like a 15-20 minute ride away, so perfect really. Yeah, so I did want to talk to you as well about a couple of other things. I think I'm probably just going to walk down this section while I'm talking to you. I mean, the idea is that if I drop my phone, that's going to be the end of it. Let's just get through this bit first. What's brilliant about this climb as well that I didn't even think about previous, but now that I see it, I'm like, there's like lots of little driveways, and this is like the last section before that cattle grid. There's like 2 S-bends, but there's also driveways, and Charlie can stand there and take photos. Okay, I figured this would be a good place to stop to show you. So this is probably about 300 meters into my climb, and then it's a little bit bumpy right here, but hey, that's why I chose this climb, because it'd be exactly like the Nationals. And then we come around this corner, and it's, yeah, I mean, that speaks for itself. Then I don't have to tell you how steep that is. You just say it's steep. You don't have to tell people how steep it is. So yeah, we're going to keep going down, and I'm going to stop and then speak to you in a bit. Okay, so this is like the last little bit now. It's really difficult to know where to point when I'm using my phone. So up there is obviously where I've just come from, and down here is this, like the start. The start is a little bit further down there. Very nice view from here this evening. Isn't that wonderful? Also, the light is nice. So I thought I'd finish the video off by chatting to you here. And I know it's not a long video and there's not really anything to this video, but I wanted to talk about like what it's like, or what it's been like being national champion this year, when, you know, so many things have been, I guess, you know, thrown on their head and nothing's really happened. And I think out of I guess it was like 4 or 5 major things I wanted to achieve this year that I set out to achieve, I only accomplished one of them, and that was doing the Tour de Stations in Switzerland, thanks to the Band of Climbers crew. A couple of the other things I wanted to do, that, you know, I wanted to have a go at Alpe d'Huez KOM. I wanted to have a go at the Taiwan KOM challenge, which is actually, was it this weekend? I know it's like sometime around now. Anyway, Mallorca. Yeah, there was a couple of things. So none of that happened, but I had an interview this morning. Well, it was an interview catch-up, because I did an interview with BBC Sport Wales, David, a couple of weeks ago. Well, actually, it was more like a month ago. And we were talking about the National Hill Climb Championships and how I'm building up to them and what it's like, you know, being a favourite and everything else. And I was really looking forward to obviously going there, and, you know, David was going to release the video and it was going to go mainstream. But of course he's had to change the whole kind of story now, because you know, we're not going to the National Hill Climb Championships. So he was asking me questions that, you know, kind of made me think about, you know, what's happened this year and how I coped, and if I've still, you know, got what I wanted out of it. You know, the long answer is yes, I've still got what I wanted out of it, because at the end of the day, I'm still national champion. I still was national champion, and that'll always be something that'll stay with me. But it's more like being national champion that's not like made me tick. You know what's made me tick is chasing that. So chasing the national champion. So, you know, going out, setting out to try and be the national champion. And it's like the saying, well, I was told it anyway, not by anyone famous, but you'll always be hungrier, you know, going after something than you will be when you are that something. And it definitely rings true this year, and it might be because of what's happened this year, or it might just be, you know, because I've finally, you know, realised it, even with, you know, very little events and what have you. And I say that because I think we've done things different to what, you know, you usually get from a national champion, or at least at hill climbing. You know, we've done virtual events, we've done events that obviously call for good hill climbing legs but aren't necessarily hill climbing competitions. We've diversified a little bit, and we've also got, you know, the jersey out there and the recognition out there. I mean, just to use like Zwift as an example, you know, Nathan and David on the Zwift community live streams, they got absolutely bananas when, you know, they see me on the game or in the race, and, you know, they always harp back to, you know, British hill climb champion, and that's, you know, that people know what that means now. You know, it has a meaning. I hope. That reminds me, I better let them know that as of this weekend I'm not going to be champion anymore. But I also hope as well that, you know, the brands and the things that I've had the opportunity to do this year, I hope they've come as a result of not just the success of the event last year, but as a result of how I've come across, and the things I stand for, and, you know, how I perceive things and how I put things out there to be, you know, always trying to always be better regardless of what that is. And I hope that is what you get from most of these videos. I don't try to clickbait you. I don't try to, you know, bring you into something that maybe, you know, won't, you know, maybe even teach you something. It doesn't have to teach you something, but even if it gives you something from the day or something from the video, then that's the goal. And it's important as well, because I feel like, you know, because I've been racing for teams, you know, all these years, and obviously I've shifted gear and changed to a different tactic. I also want to, like, try and do as good a job as possible in trying to maybe forge a different path, in a sense that, you know, if you are one of the, I call them lucky few, but I mean, they work for it, don't get me wrong, that produce, you know, let's say better than average power numbers. They don't have to be world tour numbers, they don't even have to be, you know, pro level numbers, but, you know, you can definitely make something of that if you think outside the box. And as cliche as that sounds, but, you know, it doesn't have to be. I think even the smallest of things, like not even going for a white national championship skin suit, but going for a black one, you know, just trying to do something that's maybe not what you expect, and not so much to say to make that normal. That's not something I want to do. I don't want to make, you know, the obscure normal, because, you know, that's down to Lachlan Morton. But in all seriousness, like, I just want to do something that I can enjoy and be proud of, and that doesn't have to be laid out by somebody else. You know, that doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, National Hill Climb Championship. It's why I've wanted to do, you know, as I've said before, it's why I wanted to do this event on this climb. Well, not event, but, you know, put on my own DIY event on this climb, because, you you know, it's got nothing to do with proving, you know, that I wouldn't win, because, you know, I don't think I can win against the likes of the guys who can do 2-minute power numbers that are off the charts. I mean, I can get close maybe, but, you know, unless we have, you know, everything going right and we prepare and we have, you know, the highest spec equipment and everything else that we were planning for, you know, this national championships, I just wanted to test myself more than anything. And even for you guys who aren't able to make the national hill climb championships, you know, don't let that be the end of it. Don't let that be, you know, the end of your season. You know, you can still pick a climb like this and go out and try and to achieve something that you might have thought you wouldn't achieve. Like I said, it's got nothing to do with me trying to prove that I could be at that level. Or, you know, if I was at the National Hill Climb Championships, look at this, like I can do the same time as 7th place, so that would give me 7th place in equivalent. No, you know, I know how it works, and this is more about, you know, me versus myself, and that's what it's always been about. And it's partly why I chose to kind of step away and to try and focus on my own ambitions and my own goals, and give myself my own ambitions and my own goals, so that I could well and truly fulfill that. So yeah, like, sorry for the rambling, and sorry for the contentless video. Sometimes it's just me talking. Steady on, steady on. I do just want to end by saying that you know, I do actually genuinely wish everybody the best of luck this weekend in the National Hill Climb Championships. You know, they prepared for it. They've got the opportunity now to lay everything out on the road, and I'm sure they will, because in 2 minutes you can't really not lay everything out on the road. But yeah, fair play to the organisers, Reading Cycling Club for putting it on. I spoke to the organiser a couple of times. No, 100%. Like, I'm like excited to see what the results are, because I'm a fan. You know, I am a fan of the hill climbing scene. I'm a fan of the guys who race, the girls who race, and there's going to be some blistering times all around, I'm sure of it. I just hope it doesn't rain, because apparently that climb is slippery when it's wet, and that would be a bummer if it affected anybody's race. So take it out there, enjoy, have a good weekend everybody. I'll see you on the other side.